Hello, I'm Catherine, and you found the Catherine Corner, where I sit in a corner and we talk about how to choose your college major. So, if you're a student and you're 18, you're probably figuring out what to do for your bachelor's degree, and if you're older, you're figuring out what to do for your master's degree or PhD, whatever. In any case, and if you're outside of the US system, there's also another level depending on which country you're from, so that's always fun. But we're going to talk about either bachelor's or graduate programs. The first thing, well, first of all, get a piece of paper and write down the questions that I'm asking you, and then also the answers. It could be you think of it immediately, or you have to sit and really think about how you feel and whatever. But all of these questions will lead to the answer of which major would be correct for you. The first thing, or the first question that we should talk about is, what type of job do you want? Some people know what type of job they want, some people don't know. First, we're going to talk about if you do know the type of job you want. Figure out if that job requires this degree or the certification or whatever, and if it does cost money or not. So if it's free, the only thing that you're really putting into this degree program is your time and effort, and you yourself, you decide how much your time is worth, right? If it costs money, you better make sure that it is required. There are a lot of professions where it's not required to get a certain degree. For example, if you want to be a writer, you don't necessarily have to study English or get an English degree to become a writer. You can just start writing, and that's it. You practice the craft and then you get better. The same thing is true for anything that's art and design oriented, where you post your work and you try to get clients, and that's usually how things work. There's more details and stuff, but for other industries such as science or engineering, they really require you to have a degree, so you can't get around that. You can't just show, oh look, I'm able to do it and it's fine. Maybe years ago people were able to do that, but that's not the case anymore. So depending on which field, do research, figure out, is this something you need? If it doesn't cost money, then I guess you're not giving up as much, so that's good. Then it's sort of like a personal value thing where you're like, well, I'm getting this free degree, or sometimes you can get into PhD programs that are 100% paid for, you don't need to worry about it, in which case maybe you just really enjoy it, and so you're not losing anything by studying it. The next thing we're going to talk about is if you don't know which job you want, in which case we have to backpedal a little bit and ask more questions. In order to figure out which type of job you want, first ask yourself what kind of lifestyle you want to have. What kind of life do you want to have in the future? The life you have right now when you're young is going to be one way, and that's great. And it does take some soul searching and figuring out what type of life do I want to live. There are lots of people that love to travel the world and they want to do that for the rest of their lives. They don't want to be in one place anymore. There are people who want to live in a specific city. There are people who want to live with a family, get married, have kids, buy a house, whatever. And some people who do not want to do that. Different jobs allow for different lifestyles. If you're a high-powered business executive, you're probably going to be traveling a lot and you won't have time to sit in your house with your family and stuff. Some people do not want to get married and stuff, so that means that they're going to want the type of career that will provide them with that creative outlet or sort of fulfillment that usually people use family or people or relationships to fill. There are always pros and cons to every lifestyle. For example, if you're a freelancer or if you're doing something where you don't have a consistent schedule, you will have to be the person to set when you work. And that's great, there's freedom to that, but then there's also the inconsistency of how many paychecks you get and how often they come in. It all depends on how much work you put in. There are other situations like the office 9-to-5 type of job. The negatives are, well, yeah, you have to go in at the same time, but the other thing is you're only working 40 hours a week and you're compensated for exactly that amount of time consistently. So you don't need to worry about where your next paycheck is coming from. Those types of positions usually also provide healthcare, retirement benefits, all of these things, so you just don't have to worry about them. Then again, you have to be there from exactly 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are, right? If you're someone like an athlete, you're probably going to be able to work professionally up until your body is not able to compete professionally anymore, in which case, after you get that, professional, certification, if you're a dancer or something, you probably will be able to do it until you're maybe 30 or 40 or something, and then you're going to have to retire and go on to something else, because you're probably not going to stop working when you hit your 30s or 40s, right? So you're going to have to change your life plan according to what you want. If you still don't know what type of job you'd want, based on all of these questions and all of these pieces of information, the next best thing, this was something that I needed to do. When I had all these questions in front of me, I had no idea how to answer them. Just go out and see if you can do the job. That doesn't necessarily mean you get that job immediately. It could mean you're volunteering, it could mean you're contacting people who already work in that field and you're asking them questions, you're shadowing them, you're doing internships, whether they're paid or unpaid. The whole point is to figure out, do I want to be in this? Do I like it? What are the pros? What are the cons? What am I okay with my life going in that direction? So I hope all of these questions and all of these ideas helped you. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment, be sure to message me, and I can make a response video to specific questions that you guys have. Just let me know. The reason why I bring up lifestyle in terms of choosing what type of job you want or what type of college major you should go with is because people who already know what they want to do won't be watching this video. They already know what they want and why they want it, and they're going for it, right? The reason why you're probably watching this is because you're not quite sure. So one way of figuring that out is by, one, following your bliss, and that's great, but sometimes that doesn't work out. Following your dreams can be great, but then it turns out that the job isn't what you expected because of these lifestyle choices. That actually happened to me. That was a personal experience. So I'm imparting this experience as wisdom, as a guide for if you want to find something that will make you happy and give you the type of life that you want. If you work really hard to get a job and then you figure out it doesn't pay the right salary that you expected compared to the amount of effort that you put in, that's going to be a disappointment. You can go and get a PhD in something, and then when you actually start doing the job, you find out, oh, this isn't what I expected, this isn't the type of life that I want, this doesn't allow for what I had in mind in my brain. Or I know one person wanted to become a professor, and it turned out that that type of lifestyle was not what he wanted, so he changed and decided to do something completely different, and that made him happier, right? So it's not like you have to have the specific idea of follow what you love, because sometimes what you love is gonna kill you. Sometimes what you think you want will tear you apart because it's too much of a stressful job, or you fall into a deep depression. It's just not right for you. All of these questions are meant to help you reach that answer of what will make me happy through what college major should I choose, so that you don't make the wrong decision and then you have to backtrack and redo everything, which it's not a terrible thing to have to do that. That's what most people do, but hopefully this helps you. If you like this video, like it, subscribe if you want more, and follow my Instagram. Goodbye!